Well, it's a Monday, and of course that means it's time for our technical analysis of the markets. Joining me back in our Geneva studios is Jean-Francois Owczarczak of fingraphs.com and MJT. Welcome back, Jean-Francois.
Hi, Sinead.
So let's look at the euro-dollar. In light of the recent Greek election results, how have the markets reacted?
Well, they had pretty much anticipated the results. We had a lot over the last few weeks. We had the SNB decision. We had the ECB quantitative easing announcement. And this weekend, the Greek election and the left-wing victory was pretty much anticipated. There's probably going to be a lot of ring fencing over the next few weeks. With tough talk on the side of the ECB, saying they wouldn't allow the Greeks to forego repayment of the debt, and a similar push from the Greek side to try to renegotiate what is actually due. So I think it's more medium-term perspective now. It's going to take time. It's going to take a few weeks and a few months. And if we look at the euro, what we can see on this investor's view, which is a combination of a weekly chart, a daily chart, and an hourly chart, is that although we would still be negative over the next few quarters on the weekly, with targets that could lead us down to 106 over the next few quarters, and a risk index which is not yet oversold, on a daily and an hourly basis, we have pretty much reached and extended beyond our impulsive 2 targets. Now, the trend is your friend. It's quite hard to catch a bottom against a prevailing, especially such a strong trend. But from our statistical measures, we are past our most extended boundaries. So if we have a look here on the daily chart, so the perspective over the next few months, we can see that we are below our impulsive 2 targets, which are labeled done at the moment, and into the oversold zone. Now, it hasn't turned yet. They're still heading down quite aggressively, but in terms of just the exaggeration here, we're pretty far into the process. Similarly, on the hourly, we had targets down to below 13. We're now around 12. Also, the risk index is in the green, oversold, and we're quite a ways past our targets. So we'd say that risk reward to the downside has deteriorated to some extent on a medium to short-term basis, but we will still keep our negative stance over the next few quarters. Maybe it's worth looking at the trader's view, which is a combination of a 60-minute, a 15 minutes, and a 4-minute chart. And what we could see here is that the 60 minutes is still heading lower. It has a target possibly towards 1040 over the next few days. So that would be our possibility of more negative price action over the next few days. However, the 15-minute has started to react up. We would really see something meaningful, meaning the possibility of a rebound, which could bring us up a few more figures if we were able to make it above 113, which is the high end of our corrective targets here. And if we want to think very short term, we have been moving up since this morning, and as long as we stay above 111.90, this uptrend would still be in place. Now, that's it pretty much for the euro. We'd probably look at gold. Gold has had a very good run in light of also SNB, ECB, and Greek elections. Last week we had toned that we had made it above our corrective targets and had passed the strong resistance that we had seen around 1250, which had already acted as a resistance here back in the month of October, as well as support in early June this year. Our targets point to a continuation of this uptrend towards 1330 to 1384. Now, I need to caveat this because the long-term trend is still heading lower. It is quite oversold in the oscillator. You do see envelope stress, but we're still in a downtrend, and this should still be a few more quarters to go. with targets that could lead us between 1190, where we have already been, to 980. So if you take an average here, you're around 1100. So we think there is a possibility to move back lower into that direction over the next few quarters. So if we sum the two up, we believe that when a secondary move up at the moment, it could lead us up to 1330 to 1380. If we look at the hourly, we believe we've had probably reached the first targets of this move up, and that we aim for a consolidation over the next week or so. Again, the 1250 will be a very important mark. It has served as resistance and support previously, so we would expect to go test it over the next week or so.
Are there any events in the markets this week that our viewers can look out for?
Well, basically, the drop in the euro has made it that we wouldn't expect negative news from the Eurozone to widely impact the pair anymore. Possibly negative news from the US may fuel a rebound on the euro-dollar pair. And I'm thinking the FOMC meeting that is coming up this week, possibly also we have the advanced GDP numbers for the fourth quarter. We would want these to come in line, or at least with what the market is expecting. Now it's probably worth just having a look at the equity markets. And if we go back to our mosaic here and we have a look at the S&P, the S&P on a weekly basis is still trending up. It is an impulsive 2 targets, so it is a sign of a quite extended and risky market, but we do have still the possibility over the next 2 quarters to make it above to 2,200 and possibly up to 2,400. So we're still on an uptrend. It's extended, but it doesn't seem quite over yet. On a daily basis, we are on a correction down. We've been able to move in slightly into what our corrective targets were. It is still labeled a correction down at the moment, but as you can see, the hourly is attempting to break out of this range into a possible resume uptrend. Our targets here would lead us to new tops. At the moment, we'll probably need to reconfirm the move up following the correction on the back of last week. But if we look at equity markets, we'd think that long term, there's still potential. On a daily basis or medium term, we're in a correction, and on the hourly, we might be coming out of that correction into a new move up.
As always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, Jean-Francois.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's all from Jean-Francois and myself for now. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep clicking back. Bye for now.